prepared a little bit of it, and we'll just go over the concept of global networks and give you the opportunity to learn about what our ideas are. And then you will have the opportunity to share with me your feedback, your perceptions, where you think we can start, and what you think will benefit you the most, whether you're a student, an alum, faculty member, a community partner. So please feel free to put questions in the chat or just turn your camera on and your mic on and ask a question, okay? So, first of all, one of the reasons why we started thinking about creating global networks is because we really felt like the identity of being a global citizen is a very strong one. A lot of alumni networks are focused on, people in a particular city, but if you're someone who has moved to another country, you know that you don't always stay in one place. You may come to the US to study, but you may not necessarily go back to Colombia. You may go to Europe, you may stay in the United States. And for all of our students and our faculty and our alumni, I feel that there's a great opportunity to connect over shared interests. And we'll talk a little bit more about that later. So I'm going to give you a little introduction here. Then we're going to look at some network specific data, and Tatiana, my student assistant, will do that for us. Then we're just going to talk about, developing a mission, values, and goals that are relevant to Network Colombia, and talk about the structure for the leadership of the network and the benefits and what kind of events you're interested in. So when we talk about global networks, we're really talking about groups of alumni, students, faculty, and allies who are from the network country, in the network country, or with an interest in the network country. So in the case of Network Colombia, that means all of our alumni who are living in Colombia, whether they're Colombian or not, all of our Colombian alumni, no matter where they are in the world, our current students from Colombia, and any faculty that we have that are engaged in business or research in Colombia. So it's a lot more inclusive and a lot more expansive than what, the typical alumni affairs does. So we're talking about international students and everyone I just mentioned. Okay, so if we think about a basic vision and a purpose for this, what we really want to do is create these transnational, interconnected networks of USF global citizens. So like I said, it doesn't matter when you come to USF as a student, doesn't matter where you end up living, where you end up working, you can still remain a part of this network and be forever in contact or a member of Network Colombia. So we want to build basically a community of support. We want to build a community that supports our international students, our international faculty, the research that they do, the business that they do. We also work with community partners. We work with community institutions, with partner institutions. So we have an amazing partnership with Uninorte in Barranquilla, and they are a member of this network as well. And any even business organizations that do business in Colombia or trade, those would be welcome. So we also want to reconnect our global alumni back to USF to contribute to their colleges, to help mentor our students, to share their experience. Okay, when it comes to the network structure, it's pretty basic. There will be one network director, but we will have regional network coordinators and regional network contacts, and that will depend on where we have alumni hub spots or hotspots in the world, right? And then we'll have our members. Another thing that I'm toying with is having like a student leader or a student leader representative to be part of this leadership team as well. So in terms of the responsibilities of the network, I've kept them extremely flexible. So obviously, a leadership team is going to want to reach out to prospective members, bring them in, establish a network management team. I would like to host 2 global leadership assemblies per year. So that will be an amazing opportunity for those in leadership positions to meet the leaders of other global networks. So it would be the network director from Colombia meeting with the network director from Japan, meeting with the network director from India, and having that opportunity to talk about what they're doing well, where they're struggling, brainstorm ideas for engagement, things like that. So it's another level of networking that we hope to
I
offer.
have a question. So
Yes.
do you have these networks with other countries within USF?
We launched 4 in November.
Okay.
So
Okay.
Saudi Arabia,
4.
India,
Okay.
and Brazil.
Okay.
And hopefully we'll launch. We have plenty that we want to launch. So they're one for the Caribbean. Some of them will be regional, where it makes a little bit more sense, like Network the Caribbean or Network the Middle East. So in some cases we'll have individual countries, and in other cases where it makes more sense, they'll just be regional or a combination of the two. Like we'll do Network Latin America at some point for sure. Okay, and then of course we have things like student engagement opportunities that we'd like to provide for alumni and students to connect, for faculty and students and faculty and alumni to connect. We would like to support recruitment efforts to make sure that we are bringing in more students from Colombia, giving them special opportunities, and 2 network events that would be just for alumni. So again, a lot of these overlap. It's very flexible what we can do, but we want to make them as simple as possible, and we'll hear from you. You're welcome to give me feedback on what kind of things you would like to see or do. Now, to encourage a little healthy competition between the networks and also to give us some benchmarks to work towards, I've developed a kind of different tiers of distinction as a community of support that the network can reach. So at the bronze level, it would be, for example, meeting all of the network requirements. The silver level might be something like a mentorship program that's established for current students. The green level would be something like raising a certain amount of money for the International Student Emergency Fund, which students are always in need and they experience a lot of financial stress here in the United States. And then the gold could be something like an endowed scholarship for students from that country. I have question marks here because every network is going to be different. Everyone is going to have their own flavor. Some goals don't make sense for one network when they make sense for another network. So this is where it's really important that each network and its membership really determines their own values, objectives, criteria. Okay. And that's pretty much it. That's just a general overview. So I just wanted to give that to anyone who was not able to participate in the former events, but I'm all ears. I'd love to hear any feedback that you have. And I also want to give Tatiana the opportunity to give us some basic stats. Some of the numbers in this report are not accurate. I will be honest, because we are very limited in the kind of data that we are able to pull from sources like LinkedIn. What will be accurate is the number of prospective alumni members and the number of current students. That is accurate. What we don't have accurate figures on are the companies, the number of people working in certain companies, or the number of people in certain locations. But that's something that I do hope we will be able to collect with more accuracy as we build out the network and are connected to people. So Tatiana, if you could go ahead and give us that.
Yes, of course, Vani. So hello, everyone. Sorry. My name is Tatiana. I'm an international student from Colombia. I just came here. I'm a freshman and I'm working with Vanessa as a student assistant of USF World. I'm going to present you with some insights and some data about the future of the Network Colombia and how promising this network looks in general. And this data includes information about alumni, students, faculty, and more, so we can get like a really good glimpse of all of the members of our network. So for starters, we have 465 prospective alumni members. As Vanessa mentioned, this is one of our most accurate data. And these are all the people, all the alumni that could be potential members of our network, indicating like the future of the network, how many people could join, and the growth that this network could experience. These alumni and all of the other alumni also that are going to be members of the network, we have identified that they can be found in some specific hotspots around the world, and these are the most significant. As Vanya mentioned, this is data gathered exclusively from LinkedIn, which is not like, it doesn't mean that there's only 68 people in Tampa Bay area. It's just 68 people we could have identified on LinkedIn on that area. But this is just like an insight of where our alumni located around the world and where could potential events and potential network meetings or other things could happen. So as the graphic shows, we have 68 alumni identified in Tampa Bay and the metropolitan area, which includes Clearwater and St. Petersburg. We have 18 alumni in the Miami and Fort Lauderdale area. We identified 32 alumni in Barranquilla and 39 in Bogota. These are some companies that we've noticed and our data has shown a lot of alumni to be working in. So we have 9 identified incumbents and Universidad del Norte. As Vanessa was mentioning, this has a lot to do with the alliance, the partnership that USF has with Universidad del Norte, which is why we have a significant amount of alumni that are linked as well to UniNorte. And we have 5 alumni identified in Intel and Citibank, respectively. In regards to our outreach capacity, how much this network can expand and reach out to members and potential members, there have been 338 potential members, alumni identified on LinkedIn. 559 emails for contact. Is a great resource to reach all of the members, prospective members, and like organize network events and more. And out of these alumni, 202 are UniNorte alumni, which again like shows the strength and the great power that the UniNorte and USF partnership has brought to both schools and to the network. In regards to our faculty, we have had 42 faculty members engaged in research, creative endeavors, and teaching in Colombia, which is something really nice to hear because it's a lot, as Vanessa was mentioning, these faculty are not only Colombian faculty, but faculty that are interested in our country and have gone there and have like done their diverse research activities there. So
Tatiana, I have
yes?
a question. Can you tell us which are the areas that this faculty is working on? What type of research are they doing?
Yeah. Go, Vanessa. Yeah.
Tatiana. Yeah, actually, USF World has a tool called the Global Discovery Hub, which I'll put a link in the chat for you. And that's something that you can see where faculty are conducting their research. So if you're able to do a search there, you'll find the names of the faculty members, and you'll find, articles that they have written, presentations that they have given, things like that. Again, it's not a comprehensive database. There are definitely plenty of faculty activities that are not recorded in there, but it is at least an idea. It's a start. So you can use that tool. And that is the tool that we use to get this number.
Yes, and like we've noticed that overall, like something fun about, like a fun fact about that, it's very diverse. We have identified like faculty doing research in a lot of areas, humanities, arts, science. So it's like very broad in those terms. Now, in regards to our students, we currently have 116 currently enrolled students, which is a greatly big number, especially compared to the alumni, Colombian alumni, which is a number around 450. So this shows there's a very promising future for our network. All these students will graduate, be alumni, potential members of our network. And it's also showing like steady growth of the number of students that come here to USF from Colombia. Not only this number does not only include this number only includes Colombian international students, but there's even many more students that have Colombian decency, that are somehow linked to our country, and they can also be potential members and potential support to the network. Yeah, that would be it. Thank you.
Thank you, Tatiana. Okay, so I'd love to open up the floor to you guys. I'd love to hear what your thoughts are, what your concerns are. Don't be afraid to bring up a critique. We want to make this network successful, and it will only be successful if it works for you. So I'd love to hear your thoughts on, you know, what you think the mission of Network Colombia should be. What are your priorities? What should be the objectives in your opinion? What kind of events are you interested in? Please just turn on your camera and your mic. We'd love to hear from you. Tatiana is going to take some detailed notes, and I'm going to find someone to turn these lights on because it got very dark very suddenly. But go ahead.
So I did my master's in Germany, and I do have a great experience from the Latin American network that we did from my university in Germany. Basically, we meet every year or so. The university, Cologne University of Applied Sciences, has a networking event every 2 years or so, where they gather all the Latin American students, and we do courses together. They promote like trips, like meeting trips. Last 2014, there was a meeting trip of all graduate master level students in Bogota, and everyone from Latin America like got together in Bogota, and we met. And there was another one in Mexico. So those are really cool things that you guys could do as a network, like promoting meetings in key places that are essential and that could do really cool. And last year I took an entrepreneurship course specific to my master's, which was in resource management. And it was pretty useful because we were able to earn a trip to Mexico and share our projects on whatever we were doing. So those kind of things are very attractive to do and keep you engaged, although you have a heavy load. I had a heavy load last semester, and still I kept doing this stuff because I had a really nice, like, say, price to get. So that's something to have into account. Also, Germany rely a lot on the GIZ, which is the German cooperation, and they're very bound to what they're doing in the region. So it will be cool if you guys could link with USAID and what are they doing in Colombia in the specific areas that what cooperation is doing. Just a comparison with what I got from Germany. Like, it's very tight, and yeah, there's a link. The example in Germany is that they have a link with my university in Cologne has a link with Universidad San Luis de Potosí in Mexico. And what they do is they do a lot of activities, but Mexico is the hub for Latin America. So they collect, the program of Latin America has a hub in Mexico. That's what they do. And they do a lot of networking within that group. That's my experience, and it's very attractive to say so. Like, you fight for a play if you can go and show your work in Mexico. You really do the work because it's very interesting for you. So if you guys could do something like that, just not connecting, but and I'm very interested in, as I just started my PhD, to see how can I do stuff in Colombia via the link with Universidad del Norte, because I outside by my own I have contacted people from Universidad del Norte, but I really want to know what's the vehicle within USF to perhaps do research or something like that.
Okay, thank you, Maria. That's great. That's really good feedback. Tell me again what you focus your research on?
I'm in the integrative biology department, and I'm very interested in coastal restoration of ecosystems. But whatever, I really want to know how can we build that, because I'm the link with science in Universidad del Norte, because I know there's a very strong link with engineering, and I even know who to talk with in Universidad del Norte, but I haven't found perhaps the vehicle in USF of how to translate that better to my advisor so we can do the link or whatever, you know.
Okay, I took some notes, so I'll see
Okay.
who I can connect you to, okay? Great. Anybody else here? Is anybody from Uninorte here? At the other event, we had a lot of staff and everything from Uninorte, but I don't know if any are here today. Sophia, you had something to say, right?
Yeah, so I don't know if I should call you Professor Martinez, but no. Very glad I'm here. Well, I was just gonna ask about membership. So this is my first year at USF, and I'm also really excited to link my major with like the goals that you guys have. Everything sounded so spectacular that I just wanted to ask, how do you guys select your members, if everyone could join, or it was just like an application process basically?
There's no application process. Thank you. That's a really good question. I want everybody in this network. I want students, I want faculty, I want graduate students, researchers, community partners, institutional partners, everyone, because that way we really maximize the benefits to everybody involved. It's more likely to connect with someone. So I'll tell you that what I have is, because of the university, I have like an advanced whatever priced thing for LinkedIn. So I have lead lists, and in my lead lists, I look for people who are alumni that are from particular countries or who are in particular countries. So one thing that I feel like I can do to support Network Colombia is help members connect with other members or prospective members who are in the same field that they work in, who are in the same industry or the same company, things like that. So in your case, Sophia, I would, you and I can meet, and you could tell me like, I'm really interested in this particular field or company or this particular place or city in Colombia. And then I can say, okay, let me look through my lead list. Let me see who I can find and connect you to. That's in the beginning, right? Because we are just establishing our network. But the hope is that the network will have a directory and you can look at it yourself and see, oh, okay, I see that we have alumni in these places. These are the companies that they're working for, things like that. So for example, for Network Saudi Arabia that I had a meeting with this morning, one of the first steps that we're going to do is that I'm going to provide basically like a prospective member list with the LinkedIn profiles. And they've agreed to reach out to those Colombian alumni in different parts of the world to say, hi, we're building this network. Here's a link to the group that you can join. And the more people we're able to get into the LinkedIn group, the more you're going to be able to see the members, who they are, where they work, things like that. So actually, Tatiana, can you put in the chat the link to the Network Colombia group? Everybody can request to join there. Once you're a member, which we're just going to click and accept you right now, you can look at the members that are already there, and you can do very simple searches based on the companies they work for, their location, things like that. So that's already a good start for us to start to bring people in.
Awesome, thank you. And I was also wondering about, I remember you said something about regional managers, and how are those positions organized and given to students or staffs or things like that?
So it's really going to be up to you guys to decide how you want to do it. I came up with that structure because I think it's simple. I think it makes sense to have one network director, and that director can be either in Colombia or they can be somewhere else. But I mean, I think typically I would imagine that a director would be someone who's already kind of in a senior level of their career. They have a lot more connections. They're able to offer a lot of, guidance and support. And then the coordinators are people who are really going to work on putting the events together. And the contacts are going to be basically in charge of communications. They're going to be the ones that say, okay, we're doing this event. They're going to get the word out. They're going to collect information. They're the people that talk to prospective members who aren't sure if they want to join. And I am thinking about adding a student position, and I want your feedback, like, should we just have one student position at USF? Should we have like a team? I'm not sure, what would work best, but that it can be like a student coordinator and they are part of the bigger management team.
I think actually you'd have like a graduate and an undergrad, because the needs are so different.
Okay.
Because an undergrad has really different goals than a PhD student. That will be interesting to assess.
Well, just adding my point of view to the conversation, I was going to say a team, because two heads think more than, one. And having the different perspectives from an undergrad to a PhD and being a team, it brings more ideas to the table, and it helps us, the undergrads, move towards like a more comprehensive path of being in a community such as this one. So
that's a great perspective. And this is another really good example of how each network is really going to be different. So in the case of Colombia, you guys don't have a student organization that's specifically for Colombian students. So it would make a lot of sense to have a whole team of students be part of the leadership network for Network Colombia. Other organizations like India or like Network India, Network Saudi Arabia, they have very active, very strong, and the Brazilians too, student organizations. So for them, it might make sense to just have one student from their all student org leadership team. But for Colombia, I think it's a great idea. We can put together, several students who are interested in being active.
Also, because like following what Sophia was saying, there's a lot of things, let's say, as an undergrad from Colombia, you don't know, about grad school or things like that. But if you have a whole team, then, you can start thinking about other options after you finish your undergrad that will help you, like all Colombian students that come from like the same background, let's say, to understand how, like what opportunities there are like out there after you finish like your undergrad.
Yeah, absolutely. So there's going to be a lot of different levels of mentorship here. That's the point of the network, right?
So Vanessa, I have a question for you, because just a bad comparison, but I come from there. But Germany as a country has a unit that takes all the students. It's called SIMNE. It's an entity within each embassy that takes all the people that have studied in Germany and connects them with their country. And actually, if you studied in Germany and you go back and if you are hired via SIMNE, because there is an advantage for the company of hiring you. So do you know if your USAID has those type of things? Like if there's any entity within USAID Colombia that has like deals with students, like returning stuff like that.
You're talking about USAID?
Yeah.
USAID? I don't know a lot about
or the embassy. I don't know, like, because in Germany it's called SIMNE. So it's broad. It's a, let me check my personal email.
I'm not sure, but you and I could definitely have a meeting and talk about this a little bit more. So you can give me the background. Dr. Lindy, you joined us.
Qué pena, Vanessa. I just had to take my daughter to other things.
That's okay. Please introduce yourself.
Yeah, I'm Daniel Lendy, faculty member here in anthropology at USF. A two-time Fulbrighter to Colombia, married to a Colombian, muchos años viviendo en Colombia. Y Tatiana Restrepo Padilla, ¿dónde es usted? ¿De Bogotá? Yo sabía por ese nombre, yo le iba a decir.
Sí, de Bogotá.
So I worked for a long time in Bogotá and then in Popayan. And
Cool.
Well, thank you for joining us. We are just having a little discussion about, what in this moment, what students are really looking for in the network, in what ways they want to benefit from being members, but it would be great to have your faculty perspective. The requirements for the network are very, very flexible and broad, but for sure we want to have events that provide opportunities for students and alumni and faculty to engage and to meet. So as a professor, what do you think? What kind of opportunities could a network that brings everybody to the table offer to you as a faculty member or to students in your classes?
no, and that's like a really important and great question. So, and I guess I'll try to be frank here. So, the fun thing for me would be actually just talking to people, like having a conversation with Tatiana and figuring out where she is and helping her. And I think that's in many ways the basis of a network. My research isn't actively involved in Colombia, say in the last 8 years. I don't go back there to do research now. So it's more, and I think this is promover la cosa, is that's the idea of a network. And so I worry sometimes, like if we're going to think we're going to get personal benefits out of it, that's not how I'm approaching this. It's really because I think it's a great idea, and I think the synergies that can happen through this type of thing are really important. So I'm really open to ideas of how to make that happen. I don't think it's a hard ask that you're trying to do, Vanessa, I'll be honest. But if you can make it happen, just like alumni networks have worked at other universities, then, but I guess I'll be wary. Faculty want to see individual benefits, and that's why I'm showing up sometimes. And that faculty don't always say that, but faculty say, why should I invest my time when I have so many other demands? But the reality is all of us are in that position.
Yeah, but that's a good point, because we have faculty who are engaged in different types of activities. So in your case, you're no longer going to.
I don't know if she froze or I froze.
She froze.
Yeah, she froze.
She's almost there.
To meet up with the alumni there. Can you guys hear me?
No.
Hello?
You're coming back a little bit.
So, Dr. Glenda, what type of research did you do in Colombia?
For me?
Mhm.
Yeah, so I first, in my case, I lived and worked in Colombia for 3 years as someone who was helping adolescents, and then as a freelance journalist, and then I did work on substance use and abuse, and then both looking at why people got into problems, but why Colombia actually had prevention of much greater prevention of substance use than you might expect for it. And then I was a professor in Popayan for a semester at Universidad de Cauca.
Wow, cool.
So I don't know if you guys can hear me now, but what I
You're
was
back.
Yeah, no.
before I froze was that it's great to have your perspective, Dr. Lundy. Thank you. And I think just like for students and for our alumni, professors also have a diversity of needs and situations. So in your case, you're no longer traveling to Colombia. So it would be very different for a faculty member who is traveling to the network country and doing research, who wants to meet up with alumni there or help to recruit students. And so it's good to have everyone's perspective.
I'll take the situation with Uninorte, right? And they really want specific collaborations, but at the same time, there's a broader sense of like how you facilitate those things. And I think that's really what you're trying to achieve, Vanessa. And so like conversations for me like this are really easy.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah. It's great. Thank you for coming, even if just to give us
I literally got like 3 minutes before I got to get my daughter again, but we have
That's fine.
Tatiana, María, Mariana, Sofía y Vanessa. ¿Todos hablan español? Me imagino.
Todos hablamos español.
¿Por qué estamos hablando
En inglés? Yo también. Eso fue lo primero que pregunté, porque hablamos en inglés.
En hablar en español no hay ningún problema.
Vale, mejor. Sí. No, pero lo que tú dices es cierto, tiene que ser un scope, porque yo sé que el vínculo con ingeniería es muy fuerte, pero sí, yo soy de ciencias y a mí me gustaría hacer mucha investigación allá. Yo soy de ciencias biológicas y es un hotspot, pues especialmente el Caribe. Entonces, ¿cómo estudiante de doctorado puede...
Te entiendo, por ejemplo, yo acabo de hacer contacto con un estudiante que yo enseñé allá en la Universidad de Cauca hace como 15 años, pero ya es profesora ahí en la Universidad de Cauca ahora. Entonces yo está haciendo cosas que yo le empecé a enseñar hace 15 años. Entonces, para mí hay oportunidades para facilitar ese tipo de cosas. Entonces, son muchas trayectorias que Vanessa que tratar.
Tienes que tratar, sí, son varias cosas.
Pobrecita.
No, pero hay muchas cosas que toca empezar chiquito. Eso es lo que sería importante, empezar por pasitos. Entonces, ir tejiendo las cosas. Mira, yo soy egresada de una universidad en Alemania y hacer el tejido de mi maestría y hacer el tejido de una red que tenemos a nivel Latinoamérica ha tomado más de 7 años, 8 años. Entonces, pues, y no así, pues ahí vamos, ahí va.
Juliana.
Sí, buenos días. Bueno, yo estoy en Asia, yo vivo en Asia, entonces aquí son las 7 de la mañana apenas. Me interesa muchísimo ser parte del network. Yo trabajo inclusive con una compañía y yo estoy en la parte de recursos humanos, entonces me gustaría muchísimo de pronto conectarme porque constantemente tenemos necesidad de buscar gente, la rotación en nuestra industria es muy alta, entonces me interesa muchísimo de pronto conectarme para poder hacer networking y tratar de ayudar, pues y obviamente tratar de hacer como recruiting para la compañía con la que yo trabajo. Entonces estoy abierta a ayudar, estoy abierta a cualquier apoyo y bueno, por aquí también en Asia a la orden lo que necesiten. Feliz día para todos, feliz noche ya.
¿Dónde estás exactamente?
Estoy en Manila, Filipinas.
Oh, qué bonito. Wow. Súper. ¿Y cuál es la compañía? ¿La industria o...?
Trabajo en mercadeo. En realidad yo vivo en Asia, pero no trabajo acá en Asia. Yo vivo en Asia por mi esposo. Él trabaja en telecomunicaciones, pero yo trabajo con una compañía americana basada en Estados Unidos. O sea, estamos en Michigan, es el headquarters, y hacemos mercadeo, lo que en Colombia se conoce como BTL, que es básicamente como protocolo, eventos para diferentes compañías, para diferentes marcas. Em, entonces, buscamos muchísimo, contratamos personas para trabajar como independent contractors o contratistas durante todo el año. Entonces, definitivamente, pues esto puede ayudar bastante.
Súper. Súper. Gracias por venir. A ver si nos podemos conectar. Yo quiero hacer una lista ya de network members, prospective network members y empezar a conectarnos todos. Y un ejemplo perfecto que los colombianos están por todas partes del mundo y no tenemos que decir que solamente hay un chapter aquí en Bogotá y uno en Barranquilla, porque para mí que sería mejor conectarnos todos, aunque estemos en Estados Unidos, en Colombia, Asia, Europa, donde sea. Okay, María. Camilo, Montoya, Rivera, Álvaro, ¿quieren decir algo? ¿Son estudiantes, alumni?
Yo me voy a despedir porque ya tengo que ir a buscar
Okay.
la hija, pero muchas gracias, Vanessa, por todos sus esfuerzos. Y es como armar todo una forma de levantar palancas para todos. Y tienes que pensar en eso. Es una palabra muy colombiana, eh, pero si puedes lograr eso, eso es algo entendible, ¿ok?
Gracias.
Bueno, saludos a todos y que les vaya súper bien. Chao.
Chao. Yo también voy a tener que ir, pero Vanessa, sí me gustaría hablar contigo de Uninorte.
Está bien.
Entonces de pronto te escribo tu correo y
Sí,
miramos
les
de
voy a
pronto.
poner mi correo acá. Para el
Me das tu correo ahí yo puse el mío, lo que necesiten, cualquier cosa. Llevo 8 años viviendo acá en Estados Unidos, trabajé de adjunct para USF por un tiempo y ahora estoy haciendo mi doctorado. Entonces, lo que necesiten, aquí a la orden todos. Ok, chao,
Gracias, María.
Martínez 4. Voy a buscar una cita contigo. A ver
Perfecto.
cuando me hace un tiempito y te puedo compartir lo de la red de la Alumni de ITT, de mi experiencia en Alemania, como como miembro de esa red y lo que necesites de eso.
Listo. Yo
¿Vale?
también, yo hice un Fulbright en Alemania y trabajé
Ah,
en...
chévere,
Ujú.
chévere,
Sí.
chévere. Yo estuve ya 2 años largos en Colonia.
Oh, ok.
Entonces,
Bueno, después hablamos. Gracias,
vale,
María.
listos. Chao.
Ok, bueno, otras ideas.
Quería clarificar algo. Es que estoy un poco confundida con por qué el grupo de la organización está en LinkedIn y no como una organización como tal en USF.
No, es solo que estamos usando LinkedIn como plataforma para organizarnos. Es un grupo oficial de USF.
So, grupo, pero no organización.
No, no organización. Es un grupo.
Okay. ¿Y por qué? Bueno, pregunto yo acá, un brainstorm.
Ujú.
Si somos 116 miembros, ¿cierto?
¿Cuántos?
No, en la presentación era como 116 miembros.
No, son 116 estudiantes, ¿cierto, Tatiana? En este momento que son de Colombia, internacionales
Oh, ok, ok.
de Colombia. Lo que tenemos es una, ¿cómo se dice? A Prospective Membership of Alumni, que son casi 500.
Ok.
Ya.
¿Puedo preguntar algo? ¿Por qué tomaron el approach de grupo y no organización como tal?
Bueno, organización tal vez quiera decir otra cosa para mí, pero si uno piensa, por ejemplo, los alumni chapters, alumni groups, es por eso. Esto lo estamos haciendo de una manera completamente diferente porque estamos incluyendo a los estudiantes y los profesores y todo, pero por eso se dice que es un grupo, pero puede ser que, yo no sé, en español tal vez deberíamos decir organización. Ustedes me dicen a mí porque yo no sé, pero en USF se dice network, vamos a decir network y así lo vamos a
Porque hay muchas otras student organizations en USF que tienen también plataformas de pronto un poco pequeñas, pero
Ujú,
están consideradas dentro de las organizaciones de USF.
ujú. Pero eso es solo para los estudiantes. Esos son organizaciones
Okay.
exclusivas para estudiantes y como nosotros no somos exclusivos, vamos a estar organizándonos con alumni y faculty y businesses y de todo por eso. It's not a student organization.
Nor a society.
No,
Nor a society. Okay.
it's an alumni network.
Porque sí tenía como esa confusión de,
Ya, es una cosa que no es completamente clara, no es ni blanco ni negro, gentes diferentes usan palabras diferentes para la misma cosa o la misma palabra para cosas diferentes, pero en este caso vamos a decir network y vamos a hacer cosas que sí, que algunas cosas que hacen las organizaciones, otras que hacen los alumni chapters, va a ser una mezcla. Pero es oficial de USF World, para que sepan.
y un momentico más, entré al link, me registré
Ujú.
y me sale ahora una página, tiene mi nombre y está USF Network Colombia. Ahí tengo que hacer algo más, request to join, tengo que hacer algo más para...
Request to join y Tatiana, you can accept them, right? You can add them. Once you're a member, you can look at the member list, you can post, you can keep up to date to what's going on, next meetings, things like that.
Okay.
Ahí vamos a empezar. Es que en este momento solo tenemos LinkedIn, pero después yo espero que vamos a poder usar otras plataformas.
¿Cómo? Bueno, porque no sé si podrían usar Balls Connect.
Lo que pasa es que Bulls Connect es solamente para estudiantes o los que trabajan en USF y como vamos a estar comunicándonos con egresados por todo el mundo, es importante usar una plataforma como LinkedIn y además tiene sus beneficios porque van a poder ver en qué compañías están trabajando, en qué parte del mundo están y eso no se va a ver en Bulls Connect. Pero puede ser que si vamos a armar un equipo de estudiantes, que podamos poner algo en Bulls Connect para ese tipo de estudiantes. Eso es una posibilidad.
La verdad es que a mí esta idea del el Meet me encantó porque yo tenía familia que había salido de USF, que yo no tenía ni idea que había salido de USF, que era exalumnos de USF. Y entonces participar en esta charla me pareció muy interesante. Gracias, de verdad.
Qué bien, qué bien. ¿Y alguien más tiene preguntas o ideas o están muy calladitos?
La verdad, sí, o sea, yo creo que han dado muy buena información, la verdad, es un proyecto que llama muchísimo la atención y especialmente yo como máster en management buscando como project management concentration, es algo que realmente espero que sigan avanzando y poder como aportar y ser parte de este network.
Oh, qué bien.
Y
Sí,
como
eso,
hizo Sofía, muchas veces por el espacio.
no, de nada. No, eso es, claro, una cosa que para mí es muy importante de poder desarrollar oportunidades para los estudiantes a través de las conexiones y las experiencias de los egresados, porque ellos tienen sus compañías, ellos pueden dar oportunidades, por ejemplo, internships, cosas así. Y hasta este punto, la universidad no ha hecho estos contactos, no ha aprovechado todo lo que pueden ofrecer los egresados. Entonces, eso es algo que yo me quiero concentrar en eso. Quiero hacer, por ejemplo, global internships, global alumni internships, y ya hemos empezado. Así que vamos a ver a dónde nos lleva este proyecto, pero vamos a empezar primero por tratar de reclutar, se dice, recruit people into the network. Y yo para hacer eso sí necesito ayuda, porque claro, si yo le escribo a alguien, van a decir quién es esa mujer que me está escribiendo de USF, pero ustedes que son estudiantes pueden decir, yo soy estudiante en USF, vengo de Colombia, estoy tratando de armar este nuevo network, me gustaría mucho que, here's the link, please join. Entonces, lo que me gustaría sí es hacer una lista así, Tatiana me va a ayudar, y después tratar de conectar a los estudiantes con los egresados por LinkedIn. ¿Más preguntas? ¿No?
Bueno,
Ok.
pues yo sí quería hacer una preguntita rápida. Bueno, pues para nadie es un secreto que en Colombia es un lugar donde las oportunidades cada vez son menos. ¿Hay planes para establecer conexiones con otras universidades aparte de la Universidad de los Andes en Barranquilla?
Puede ser, es una posibilidad.
Del norte, perdón.
Es una cosa que es bastante complicada y una cosa que puede demorar, pero para eso queremos tratar de invitar a los profesores y todo, porque ellos pueden decir, por ejemplo, o graduate students pueden decir, I want to do research with this university, or I want to get involved with this university. Eso, claro, nos va a ayudar. Pero sí, es una posibilidad.
Ok, perfecto. No, pues muchas gracias por esta iniciativa, Vanessa, por tomar este tiempo.
No, de nada, Camilo. Quiero que todos se metan al grupo en LinkedIn, así yo les puedo mandar mensajes y decirles cuándo es la próxima, el próximo encuentro, o tal vez solicitar ayuda. Pero ahí también me pueden escribir al email o a Tatiana. Tatiana también le pueden escribir a ella. Tatiana, ¿quieres decir algo?
No, pues muy chévere ver también a estudiantes como tan involucrados, que es una parte muy importante también, es como la forma de aterrizar la network. Y pues nosotros nos vamos a beneficiar mucho de esto, entonces pues muy chévere eso. Y ya también ya les dejo mi correo pues en el chat si alguien también me quiere escribir.
Además, para que sepan, bueno, para el launch tuvimos muchos más egresados. Aquí hoy son, creo que la mayoría estudiantes, pero también tenemos muchos egresados muy interesados en participar en este network. Y además en abril va a venir una delegación de Barranquilla y estamos pensando en hacer an in-person event with alumni and students. So that might be the first in-person event. I think, what were we saying, the 20th, Tatiana? The 20th or the 19th of April. So be great to have your ideas on LinkedIn about this meeting we'll do in Tampa Bay. Okay.
Just a quick question. Are we allowed to use like rooms or spaces in campus to do events, or is it just like, yeah?
Yeah, that's something that our team, that Tatiana and I can help with. Like once we decide where we want to do it, or, if we do put together a student team, then definitely we can look at reserving rooms and things like that.
Great. And when it comes to social media, like, are you guys in Instagram, Facebook, any groups, or?
No, we just have LinkedIn right now. But again, that's something that can grow. Every network is going to be different. Some networks, Network India, they just want to be on Facebook and LinkedIn. And maybe the Colombians want to be on Instagram, and the Brazilians, they want to be on everything. So it's really up to you guys as the network members to make these kinds of decisions. I am here to support you. My best to make that a reality. Okay.
Well, thank you so much for your support, because I was just like thinking of how much this could grow. Like it's a massive amount of people that are curious about how we develop as Colombians in, foreign universities. And also so many other staffs from other universities that, as Camila was saying, could join. And so
yeah, absolutely. And just because we don't have a formal partnership doesn't mean that we can't make connections with those faculty, Camilo. So formal agreements that are legal are complicated, but it doesn't mean that we can't bring in. That's why I say that we're including community partners. When we have someone that's connected to the university in some way, we have a lot of alumni who are professors, at other institutions. We want to involve them. It's a great opportunity for us to connect with other universities. So there's a lot of things that we can do, definitely. Anything else? Okay, I'm gonna wrap it up. Please reach out to me, reach out to Tatiana. She's gonna do a great job of organizing the students and getting you guys involved. So we'll think about the idea of putting together a team, and then that I think will be a really big benefit to this network.
Hola, buenas noches, Vanessa. No sé si me escuchas.
Sí, hola,
Sí,
Álvaro.
mira, mi nombre es Álvaro. Soy estudiante de la universidad. En este momento estoy en mi último año de Computer Science. Quería preguntarte si sabías, en retrospectiva de los internships, si sabías algunas páginas donde se puedan encontrar no solo internships que sean, porque yo he visto LinkedIn, Handshake, Glassdoor, muchas de ellas, pero varios de los internships piden que sean USF citizens. No sé si por experiencia de los alumni o egresados o de faculty staff se puedan descubrir unas páginas las cuales apoyen a estudiantes internacionales a tener este tipo de internships. No sé si tú sabrías algún dato de estos que podría, no sé, ayudarnos o a implementar pues estas prácticas que normalmente son más difíciles de conseguir.
Ya, todavía no, bueno, en este momento no, pero eso es algo que podemos poner como una prioridad, ¿no? Hay muchos egresados trabajando por muchas compañías bastante grandes en el mundo, entonces sería un punto de interés, yo creo, para ellos tanto como para los estudiantes. Entonces vamos a ver lo que podemos hacer.
Ok, pero de pronto de experiencia, no sé si alguna de las personas que están en este chat o que conozcas que, que sean internacionales, ¿por dónde es más viable tener un internship? Si por LinkedIn, alguna de estas convencionales, o de pronto es más que todo por meetings que hacen las universidades de la universidad con algunas companies.
¿Has usado alguna vez Going Global?
No, ¿eso es una página web o es un...?
Sí, es un servicio que lo paga USF, que ayuda a los estudiantes a encontrar trabajos, internships por todo el mundo, incluyendo los Estados Unidos. Y tienen guías bastante, bien desarrolladas sobre lo que necesitas para trabajar en ciertos países, la visa, cosas así. Otra cosa que tienen es un filtro que te muestra cuáles son las compañías que dan el sponsorship for H1B. Entonces puedes ver, por ejemplo, puedes buscar en Computer Science o una compañía en particular o una industria o una ciudad y puedes poner el filtro de H1B y te va a mostrar, por ejemplo, estas son todas las compañías que en los últimos 2 años o 6 años, lo que tú pongas ahí, que han dado el sponsorship for H1B. Entonces es una manera buena de empezar a buscar compañías, internships, trabajos, porque ya vas a saber que, por ejemplo, ya tienen esa experiencia de sponsorship.
¿Y el Going Global es en usf.edu o es goingglobal.com?
Espérame, yo voy a buscarte el link. Es algo que la universidad paga y todos los estudiantes tienen acceso a eso. Espera un momentico, te lo voy a pasar.
Ok.
También yo me acordé, en estos días venía caminando y me pararon y me dieron un flyer también para hacer internships alrededor del mundo. Entonces también voy a poner el link en el chat, pues si de pronto te sirve también.
De hecho, yo vine acá por medio de una empresa que hay en Colombia que me ayudó pues con todo el tema de la visa F1, encontrar la universidad, mi programa, y ellos también ayudan con lo que son la parte de internships. Entonces también de pronto te puede servir, se llama Grasshopper. Puedes investigar en la página web y tienen llevan muchas cosas en summer camps, en winter camps, masters, PhD, todo.
Súper.
Ok.
Perfecto, gracias. Ok, ya tienes muchos recursos, Álvaro.
Sí, muchas gracias.
De nada. Okay, I'm gonna wrap this up. I hope I see you all at the next meeting. Thank you for coming and have a very good night.
Anytime before you wrap it up, I have just like a very last question. I remember you said something about like financial funds that were available for international students and that they were there for any like expense or things like that. Is that something that you have access to, or is it just like we applying through like scholarships or things like that?
I don't have access to that, but I do hope that the network, once we get enough alumni, faculty, and all that, that we'll be able to raise money for those types of funds so that students can apply for them. So that would be raising money through all of our networks from all the countries, right? So that when students do want scholarships, when they need emergency help, then that money is available for them. So that's one of the goals of these networks.
Okay.
But I don't have access. I can't write any checks. So, okay. Okay, guys, have a great night. I'll see you all soon, I hope. Buenas noches.